Okay, this is a quick video about how to use the resource I made that will help deal with GANs and figuring out what we submitted throughout the grant cycle. So I'm on our Project Awaken share drive page, and I'm going to go to Documents. You'll see that everything's been organized post-grant, has an important thing. This is where the link to this video is at, but it explains that in the GANs folder is where the stuff is for this one. So you'll scroll down, you'll go to the GANs folder. And there's a couple different documents. This one's just some guidance in relation to COVID that is good to keep track of. GAN requests, if you open this, it literally shows you every single thing that we've submitted throughout the entire thing. It has the justifications for all of them, okay? But the most helpful thing is probably going to be this Excel file. So first and foremost, good thing to be mindful of, and it explains this on the overview page. But for the first half of our grant, things were called GANs, Grant Adjustment Notices, and they were submitted through Grant Management System, or GMS. But in 2020, I think it was around September of 2020, we were no longer able to submit things through GMS as the system was upgraded to the new program called Just Grants. And through Just Grants, the terminology is different, and things that used to be GANs are now either award deliverables or GAMs, Grant Adjustment Modifications. So first and foremost, GANs were the first half of our grant, and so you'll open up this Excel file, but if you open up the GANs folder, you can see everything that was approved. This is like what the actual PDF from GMS will look like. So there's all the approved ones are in a folder, all the ones that we were sent back and they asked for changes, all the PDFs, any that were denied. Now only one was outright denied, all the rest they said denied with the quote that approval was not needed in the first place. So that's all there. And then what's important is the GAN attachments. So the PDF is just the system that came through GMS. It doesn't show you what we actually submitted. So this is all the actual attachments we submitted for approval. So you can rifle through these one by one, but what would actually be a lot easier is to open up this Excel file that has everything in one spot. I'm going to try to make this go away so that you can see better. Okay, so you'd see the GAN ID. So again, these are only for GANs because the award deliverables later, they don't have IDs that we can see. So you can see the GAN ID, the date we submitted it, some like title heading of what it was, and then the status of what happened with it. And if any notes, so for example, this is one of the ones that was denied with approval not needed. And then to the right, you'll see the attachments. So if it says none, that means we didn't submit any attachments to it. We just submitted that little blurb, which would be on the GANs request document. If there was an attachment, I link right to the attachment. So you can open up that exact attachment that we sent. Now there are a couple different things that Liam or Ann submitted maybe before me or maybe once I was here that I don't have access to, but Mark Lynham, if you had him dig, could probably find the emails that they must have sent with those attachments. But anything else, so I mean there's a couple that I don't have, but everything else I have because I would have submitted them. So if you just, like I said, you click on it, it'll bring you right to the campus climate flyer that we submitted and that was approved or not approved. On the other side of this document, if you click on this hyperlink to the GAN ID, it takes you right to the PDF about that specific deliverable, okay? So this is all organized and coded this way. Now, if you move the folders around, these links aren't going to work anymore. So I really recommend not touching the folders because it will mess up this work thing. So that's how it works for the GANs. For the award deliverables, it's pretty much the same, except for because there's no IDs, you'll have to click on the status, and that's what will bring you to the approvals. Now, you'll probably remember there's a ton of issues with the transition between GMS and Just Grants. And so pretty much all of these approvals are approvals via email. And so you'll see it, and then the approval was uploaded to Just Grants to document it in our official grant file. But Just Grants is not the easiest system to navigate. We've had a lot of issues, so the approval emails are there. Same thing though, that the attachments are all included to the right, exactly what we sent for approval. A couple final notes on this. The biggest issue, so we had a couple that we withdrew the request for tweaks, so you still have the evidence of them. We had a lot of issues though trying to do a budget adjustment under the 10% amount. So above 10% of a budget change requires a lot more approval than under 10%. So we tried to do an under 10%, but we had a ton of back and forth with our program manager, Althea Hart, about this because we tried to submit lighting, but it wasn't in our original grant, so we couldn't do that in our no cost extension time. Back and forth, and it was really confusing, especially because a lot of it's Excel files. So the one that's approved, you'll see on here, budget change request approved. So you can see the actual email where it's approved. Even after she approved it via email, we went back and forth a lot about how to upload it in Just Grants. So I want to show you. Oops. Okay, so if we were in GANs, we're talking about award deliverables. Okay, so award deliverables, you can look at all the approval emails or the attachments. Okay, so the actual budget stuff that was approved is in its separate folder just to keep them really separate since the titles are similar. So this is the stuff that was sent to her that was actually approved pertaining to the budget. And this folder has her and I's emails about how to approve it and get it, how to submit it and get it approved on Just Grants. Because first she wanted it to be submitted to Just Grants as an award deliverable. Then we were later told that that was not right and we should do it as a GAN. Then we were told that that's not right and we should do it as a programmatic cost GAN. And so ultimately all of these things are included for your reference, and then there's also included the actual email from Just Grants letting us know that this was officially approved, not just email approved, but approved on Just Grants as well. So I think that's everything that shows you how to use this document, but of course if you have questions, don't be shy.